The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons. Good morning, or if it's another time of day, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are watching this around the world. And welcome to the West Ham Massive. You join me on a dog walk. If you are new around here, please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that bell notification to say all. Don't forget to like the stream, tell your friends we're here, send and share the YouTube channel URL onto your social media platforms, and we can help grow this channel a little bit bigger than what it currently is as you find it. Just wanted to do this little recording. A couple of things I wanted to just sort of get your opinions on. You've got the comment section below, get stuck in. Really like to know your thoughts on this. So a couple of stories that have piqued my interest. One of them about a possible incoming, might even be 2 players incoming in January. Possibly, maybe it might even stretch out into the summer window, but either or. One of them is someone that was quite heavily linked with us in the summer, and another guy who was possibly not linked as much, but I think that possibly he might be linked a little bit more going forwards, who knows. Those players being, in the first instance, Harry Maguire, who was linked with us before we got in Konstantinos Mavropanos. You could obviously turn around and say, well, what's Harry Maguire done since then that would make him still someone that we would be interested in? Well, I think, and this is just my personal opinion, I'm not saying he's the world's greatest defender, but I do think there's a player there. When he's pulled on the England shirt, very rarely has he let down any of the managers that have given him that opportunity, principally Gareth Southgate, of course, and we can all have our opinions on whether we think he's a decent manager or not. But you know, he's played at World Cups, he's played at European Championships, he's played in the Premier League for many years, and sometimes a player will go to Manchester United, and obviously it's one of the biggest clubs in world football. Their history is very few teams can come close to the sort of the history that they have. And I recalled this the day after the sad passing of the footballing legend that is Sir Bobby Charlton, and condolences to his nearest and dearest, a true footballing legend, and irrespective of the fact that he never wore the claret and blue of our beloved club, I think I need to put out a sort of like respect that I had for that gentleman growing up. You know, he did everything. World Cup winner, European Cup winner, League champion, FA Cup winner, European Footballer of the Year, World Cup Golden Ball, CBE, Knight of the Realm, and a very humble man. And he will be sorely missed. He lived 86 years, most of them he was in good health, obviously towards the end not so much, but condolences, as I say, and respect to his family. So back to Harry Maguire. you know, you could turn around and say, do we really need him? Well, right now, I'd probably argue maybe not. But a couple of things to just consider going forwards. That obviously we've got a player in Angelo Ogbonna who isn't getting any younger. I think he's still a good player when we call upon him. He's usually quite reliable. Yeah, he had that mistake against Bacca Topola, but I think that he's someone that generally I quite like Ogbonna. He's a good servant to the club. But obviously there's also this story about Kurt Zouma possibly getting some interest from the Saudi Pro League. Maybe he's going to be tempted to jump ship in January. And to be fair, yes, he's the club captain at the moment, but let's be honest, he's had his fair share of injuries, and I think if they came in with a decent amount of money, you know, some of the figures that they sort of kick around, to be fair, it might be quite difficult to say no. But anyway, so if an opportunity came up like that, Harry Maguire, I wouldn't be averse to it. I think we could consider far worse options. But the one I really want to talk about, and he's a guy that's started to get quite a lot of headlines lately for a couple of goals he scored in the red of Manchester United, and that is Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay has been at Manchester United since he was 5 years of age, coming through their youth academy. Scotland international, although he was born in Lancaster, 26 years of age currently. When he gets to the summer, so at the end of this season, he will have 1 year left on his deal, and he could be available. Now, Scott McTominay, I think, is a player that he's not one of the star names of Manchester United, and that's not to do him down, you know, but you've got a lot of the players. I mean, he's been in the first team for approximately 6 years, and in that time they've had some star names of world football, some of whom have not really sort of done it in a Manchester United shirt, but you know, he's had to sort of like compete in the same squad space as they. And so I'm just on the dog walk, and my dog has just sort of like crossed paths with another dog, so they're having a little sort of look at one another across the road, so do excuse me. So yeah, so Scott McTominay, he's someone I'd be quite interested in. He ticks a number of boxes. Obviously, you know, he's British. Yes, okay, he represents Scotland, but he's English born and raised. You know, it should also be noted that this is a player that Sir Alex Ferguson was very keen to try and sort of steer him towards representing Scotland. Obviously a country that Sir Alex is very proudly a Scotsman, and he made a great deal of effort to try and get him to represent the country of the birth of his father. Scott McTominay's father is Scottish, that's how he qualifies for Scotland, which obviously he has done now. I think 40 odd caps, I think 44 caps from memory, 7 goals. In league football, he averages around about a goal every 10 games. He's predominantly been used as a defensive midfielder, but that's not the only role that he can occupy. He can also play as a centre-back. He can also play as a box-to-box midfielder. Now, for me, if Scott McTominay came on the market, either in January or in the summer, personally, I would be all over it. I think he ticks, like I say, a number of boxes. He's versatile. He's Premier League experienced. At 26 years of age, I believe his peak is still yet to come. And yeah, I think I like him. I like him as a player. You might not. You might, and the same with Harry Maguire. You might have some thoughts on them that are quite sort of polar opposite from what I'm thinking. Out of the two, I'd probably favour McTominay over Maguire. I think obviously the fact that he's the younger of the two, and probably doesn't have some of the negative connotations that maybe Maguire would have. Does Scott McTominay have sort of like to weigh him down? So I think I'd probably be more inclined if it was a case of one or the other. I mean, if we could get them as a pair, depending upon the structure of the deal from a financial standpoint, I'd probably be very interested to do business. But if we only had enough funds, and this is the other thing, is if we are going to make a move in January, say, and it all hinges on where we're at. You know, if we're looking at maybe sort of 8th position there or thereabouts, and possibly looking to try and push for another place or two further up the pecking order, do we maybe roll the dice at that point, do a bit of business? But then there's talk that maybe the money's not going to be there. So don't know how this one's going to play out. But what do you think? Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, either one of them, both of them as a package deal? How do you think? What do you think? Worth it? Or do you think maybe we need to look somewhere else? One other thing also I want to discuss, and I'm probably not going to waste too much time on it because it's probably not that newsworthy, but get it out there and maybe sort of get some of your thoughts on it. It now appears, it's been confirmed, that the future at the club of Maxwell Cornet is pretty much done. To be honest, it's probably been pretty much done for a long time, to be fair. I feel a bit sorry for the guy. He came in, a lot of money was spent on him in terms of obviously the purchase fee, in terms of salary, signing on fee, all of that. He came from Burnley, and obviously Dan, who I obviously have collaborated in the past, who runs his own Burnley football YouTube channel, Turf Morehouse, and please do consider giving him a subscribe as well. He's a lovely guy. Yeah, I mean, he turned around and said he was a wonderful player. You've got a gem there. The only thing I think that a lot of people, when we signed him, was a little bit concerned about was he did have a little bit of a checkered injury record. We do like to sign a player with a checkered injury record, it has to be said. He came in, got a couple of assists, but got an injury which was, I'm led to believe, a very strange one that was, a lot of people had scratching their heads, never seen this before. And then when he came back, couldn't stay on side, didn't appear to have amnesia as far as what the offside rule was. It's a shame, but it looks like his career at West Ham is done. Looks like we're going to lose a lot of money on him, as we often do. So I think it's fair to say not a very good value for money signing. Probably not entirely his fault, but yeah, just a shame. Just a shame, because he was a player that I was very excited to see coming in, but it's just not worked out, and it looks like now he's going to be off. Whether it's in January or whether we get to the summer and move him on, I don't know. But such a shame, but it opens the door for someone. Does it open a sort of like an opportunity maybe for a player coming through the youth ranks, or are we going to dip into the market? Either way, again, you've got a comment section below. Is there someone in the youth team that you think this presents an opportunity to if we ship off Maxwell Cornet? Or do you think that there needs to be a bit of business done to bring in another wide player? Let me know what you think. Comment sections below. As always, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Hit the bell icon. Click all. And tell your friends we're here by sharing this onto your social media platforms. Stay safe. Come on, you Irons.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies 7 distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.